Hi, welcome to Buffzone, sponsored by Liquor Mart, home for all your tailgating needs. I'm Kyle Ringo, this is Ryan Thorburn. We cover the University of Colorado Athletic Department for the Daily Cameron newspaper. And CU fans will actually need some tailgating provisions this week as the home opener comes about this Saturday against the Cal Bears. And Ryan, what are you expecting?
Well, I don't know what to expect with the crowd. Earlier in the week, there were 7,000 tickets remaining, which is really pretty embarrassing, I think, when you consider new head coach, new conference, new attitude, so to speak, and same old empty seats in the stands. I think that's disappointing. I know the economy's not easy, and the Buffs have not given anybody a lot of wins over the last 5 years, but that's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you go to Colorado fans want to imagine themselves as being, involved with a big-time college football program. And to me, it's not big-time college football until you're filling your stadium on a regular basis, win or lose, regardless of the opponent. You're excited just to be there. It's an atmosphere that demands that everybody is there, and it certainly isn't the case here in Boulder. And it's astonishing to me, really, that there's 7,000 seats available on the week of the game when you consider that there are all those factors in place. There's a new coaching staff. I know this game doesn't count toward the conference standings with Cal, but this is essentially the first Pac-12 game in Folsom Field for all intents and purposes. And then you have the whole other element of the 2001 Big 12 championship team as being welcomed back and celebrated at halftime and whatnot. It's incredible to me that there are 7,000 tickets still remaining, and this is a year where they've actually managed to with some markdowns in prices or whatever, but they've actually managed to increase the season tickets to almost 25,000. But still, I agree with you. It is an embarrassment.
Now, to be fair, Cal 52, CU 7, and there were an estimated 10,000 fans representing CU at that game last year in Berkeley. So, that has something to do with it. And you go to a game like that and get disappointed, you're probably not excited to travel back here for the rematch. So let's get into the rematch. I mean, this is a revenge game for the CU seniors who were embarrassed last year. It's John Embry's home opener. I think a lot of emotional factors coming off the loss favor CU in this game.
Yeah, I don't even know that you can they might want to call it a revenge game, or maybe that's a media creation. I'm not sure. I don't even think that this program can get into stuff like this at this point. After losing to Hawaii in the season opener and the recent history of this program, I think they just need to take it game by game. Forget about anything that happened last year or what might be coming up, and just focus on the game and going out and playing the entire 60 minutes and winning a football game. That's what needs to happen here. And that clearly didn't happen in the season opener at Hawaii, and the Buffs aren't going to win a lot of games until that starts happening.
So how are they going to do it? I think really a lot of the responsibility comes down to the offense. The offensive line struggled last week. The running game didn't materialize. Tyler made some nice plays to Paul Richardson in the third quarter, but they just got to come out in the first quarter and play like that and control the ball a little more, and I think that's the key, because I think the defense was okay against Hawaii and going to get better throughout the year.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to put it on the offense. I mean, this is an offense that was completely ineffective against Cal last year. They gave up 7 sacks just as they did against Hawaii in the opener, so that's an alarming thing. You look at that going into this game, and you just gave up 7 sacks in your previous game, and last year you had trouble protecting your quarterback against this opponent, so that's definitely going to be a focal point. I think this coaching staff is going to have to get a little bit creative. I don't think you could just go back out there and expect a massive amount of improvement doing the same thing. I think maybe they have to take a look at how can they move Tyler around and get him maybe out into a little bit more space. where he can make some, run pass decisions and maybe make some plays with his feet. Maybe, they've been emphasizing him staying in the pocket and stuff, but until you have an offensive line that can consistently give him a pocket to stay in, I don't think that can be your message to your quarterback. So that's definitely one thing. And bottom line is the Colorado football program is not going to be winning games, getting to bowl games, and becoming more successful until it can run the ball consistently, regardless of who the opponent is. And so they definitely have to make massive improvement in the running game this week.
So if I'm Cal, I'm double teaming Paul Richardson. I'm using whatever Hawaii did to stop the run, and I'm, spying on Speedy for those screen passes. I mean, other than that, who on CU's offense is going to do something to help these guys? I mean, I didn't really even hardly notice anyone else out there other than the offensive linemen who were getting beaten. So that's a real issue. Who besides, Hansen, Richardson, and Speedy is going to do something? I think Speedy's the only one out of carry against Hawaii.
Yeah, you're going to need some guys to step up and make some plays. Maybe a Devon Thornton at tight end. Maybe they can use some double tight end sets with Ryan Dehan and Devon Thornton. You got to get something out of Tony Clemens here. He's a senior wide receiver, and a lot of expectations on that guy to start the year. And he didn't have a good game, obviously, against Hawaii. He needs to make amends for that probably. And maybe you get some of those other running backs involved too. Tony Jones, Brian Lockridge, Josh Ford. There are other options here. Logan Gray is another senior wide receiver who, has a multitude of skills and can be used in a lot of ways, and maybe they get him involved in some of those ways. But what I think the recipe for success for this offense this week is definitely not expecting an offensive line that is a little bit banged up. David Bakhtiari is probably not going to be available. And, that gives you 3 young guys on the field on a consistent basis. You can't go into this game expecting that offensive line to make a massive amount of improvement in 1 week as far as protecting the quarterback. You need to get creative. Defensively,
I think it comes down to really 2 simple words: better tackling. CU played pretty sound. I thought Greg Brown had a good plan for Hawaii, but they just missed some tackles and over pursued, and Hawaii had a few big plays that were backbreakers. So defensively, I think they're okay there. Special teams, the kickoff coverage and some of the punt coverage has to be improved, but the freshman kickers did well. I think CU's got a real good chance. Like I said, that's the home opener and the emotions favor them. Cal, might be feeling a little confident after last season. So I'm going to go ahead and predict the Buffs to go 1-1. And this will be the last time I go out on a limb on them. But I just feel like, I feel like emotionally it's college football that comes into play a lot. And I feel like emotionally this game sets up for CU.
Well, you are going out on a bit of a limb there. I get what you're saying as far as the emotional aspect of it. The 2001 team is going to be there, probably in the locker room with the team in advance of the game, probably running out behind Ralphie with the team. And, that's probably going to help this team quite a bit. But I don't know that the difference, is all going to be made up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 52-7 last year, and I don't necessarily think that last year's team was that, was a 45-point difference between those 2 teams that I watched play in Berkeley last year. But I definitely don't think the emotional aspect is going to make up 45 points for the Buffs, and I just don't feel comfortable picking Colorado to beat Cal in this game. I'm going to have to, I've said it before, and particularly when it comes to the road losing streak, and I'll say it again, I'm going to have to see these Buffs start to make some improvements and play better before I'm going to be able to pick them to win games.
I think other than Paul Richardson, off the top of my head, I can't really think of a player on the 2011 Buffs who would start for the 2001 Buffs. But they do have something in common. They both had a lot of seniors. They were both trying to reestablish, the old CU way. It was Gary Barnett's 3rd year. And the 2001 01 team lost at home to a WAC team, Fresno State, and then just shook it off when everyone was raining on their parade and went about their business of obtaining their goals of winning the Big 12 North and then upsetting in the Big 12 championship, getting to a BCS game. I'm not saying this year's team is going to do that because they're not, but they could recover from this Hawaii game, maybe surprise us along the way and, you know, possibly reach some of their goals, which is, I think, to have a winning season.
Yeah, they definitely could. I mean, they absolutely could. It's a long season. There's still 12 games to be played, and there's a lot of possibilities available to this team. Though the difference, I would say, right now between the 2001 team and the 2011 team, since we're talking about that topic, is that 2001 team had just a tremendous group of leaders and seniors on that team. And I'm not saying that this team doesn't, but like I said before, they're going to have to show me.
Yeah, I think Tyler Hansen needs to be more of a leader. I think he leads by his actions, but I think he's got to rally these guys this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back next week and we'll see if that limb broke off from underneath you, and we'll get ready to talk about the annual in-state rivalry with the Colorado State Rams.